This simple vise stop clamps to the top of my mill vise jaws and holds parts in a repeatable position. Costs about $6 online, so I decided to make one. Hi, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. This part I didn't have, but now I do. I thought it would be a good exercise to use my CNC mill in a more conventional manner. It is a converted manual machine, so it essentially has a digital readout and power feed attached to it. Okay, we've got our stock here. This is just a piece of cold rolled 1018 or whatever. It does have one machined side because it's a leftover piece, but it just happened to be Goldilocks for the job. So we've got that one good reference surface, a couple of saw cut sides, and then the cold rolled mill surface. So we'll go ahead and just square this up. I'm not shooting for a specific dimension here yet, but we'll make it right, square, flat, proper, and true to the world. Today's tool will just be a single point fly cutter. It's got a carbide mini lathe bit in it, and we can just jog the machine around like it's a manual mill with a power feed. We're just touching off with the tool this time. If we wanted to establish a full zero, I would use an edge finder. My edge finder, I do have the offset listed in Mach 3, so if we wanted to get that fancy, but we're not going to go that fancy today. Turn the spindle on to 2,000, like 5 inches a minute. Okay, that's what my air compressor sounds like. Okay, now we have a machine surface on the bottom, machine surface on the back. Making our way downtown. Hands are in the way. We'll call that good. Okay. Oh my gosh, so close to cleaning up. Good one. So this is a pretty reasonably looking piece of metal so far, but I thought we'd take some measurements just to see what kind of size we're looking at. Okay. .988. .813, huh? Functionally speaking, these measurements don't really mean a lot because I'm not really shooting for anything specific. We're just going to plunge a trough right through the center of this, and then we will reorient it and drill our holes, and then cut it in half. Basic idiot check. Yeah, that looks about spot on. So we're going to call that I'm going to go over my ZDRO and I'm going to just type in 0.020. I'm going to go to 135 thou deep. 2,000 RPMs, which I said RPMs, RPM, 2,000 RPM. Okay, so great news, I pressed the wrong button on the camera, but the cut couldn't have gone easier. Yeah, about 135.5, not bad. Okay, I flipped the part over in the vise, so this is the bottom of what we were cutting just before when we made this slot that I don't think you saw. But I was just thinking it's a little tall, so let's give it a haircut. I'm just going to take 50 thou off the top, and then I'll probably measure it and get it right into 75. Now the really cool thing is that we just zeroed off the other side of this and flipped it over using the same parallels. We haven't changed that dimension, so our tool zero should be exactly the same, but let's be sure. Dovetail machines like to lose motion. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm within 2 thou. Oh, really? Weird aberration in that one corner. I'm going to go back over. I'll move our speed up a little bit. Like I said, it's not really important, but it feels cool. Okay, so we got our part measured in, yeah, 750. So I think when we line up and reference our holes, we'll just reference them 5/16 from this edge. We'll bring them in, and then we will find the center here so we can lay out the 3. Okay, so we found our zero on this edge, and then we found the middle between these edges. So our 0 point is the direct middle of this back edge. So I brought the cutter to that 0 point and then moved it in this way 5/16. Well, 313. I've got my spot drill loaded up right now. This is a 3/8 90-degree spot drill, and we're going to turn it at 2,500 RPM, and I'm going to move it in real slow. A lot of you guys who have watched my videos may notice that I really don't like drilling on the CNC. I'm not good with the drill speeds and feeds when it's not on a quill, you know, by hand. But I'm getting better at it, and this is part of breaking that resistance. So we're gonna drill these holes. We're gonna do, this one is going to be drilled a number 3 all the way through because the other side will be tapped 1/4 by 28. And then halfway through, we're gonna drill it with a 15/64 and then ream it to 1/4 inch. And I've got the halfway depth marked here on the vise so that I know I can touch off with those 2 tools and not go too deep or anything like that. And then we'll go over each side and we'll drill and then ream 2 5/32 holes for our sliding pins. Switch to this little tool I made. I didn't make the chuck, I just made the adapter. You do want to take the next bit, which is a 15/64, our pre-ream drill bit. We're only going to go down 440 thousandths of an inch. It's not super critical, but we're going to try to do our best. Now for some fun, some reaming. Okay, got my tin can of stinky oil. First, let's get a 0. Okay. So that's within a few icrons. We'll be well within our cut when we cut the thing in half. So, now I got the spotting drill back in. Let's see if we can give it just the slightest kiss of an edge break there. We're not going for like a full countersink. Okay, now we have to do holes on either side of this, and they're going to be 5/32 reamed. So I'm gonna go ahead and move over one and move over 250 in the X. I don't like how that looks. Okay, I'm glad I did an idiot check. I'm gonna try it. Let's try. Yes, I do like that better. That's 5/16 over from center. Yes. And now to ream. Next part is to take this over and I think we're just going to cut this on the bandsaw, which is not what I'd love to do, but I don't have a slitting saw big enough to cut this in half. We're going to cut it right down the middle and make 2 halves. Okay, so 2 pieces fresh off the bandsaw, used to be 1. Bandsaw cut could have been a lot better. It's fairly straight, but it didn't track perfectly, so we're going to clean this up on the mill. Not super happy with it. I think that blade is DED, so we'll go put these in the mill. Gonna make a screw. Yeah. Okay. Guy, shed, Michael. So we did basically step turning here. I turned this section first, so we'd have the most rigidity turning the threads. Then I turned this section, and we got that shoulder down to right at just under a 1/4 of an inch to fit into our reamed hole, nice and friendly. I wanted to do this all in the same setup. I ended up having to scoot it out a little bit to get the most, the proper length. Okay, so I've got the important bits wrapped in some brass shim stock. I went ahead and tapped this one off camera. Again, that's a 1/4 by 28, and then this is the reamed one. Okay, so I found a spring that I think will work. Quick trip to the hardware store, it's always fun. This is the reamed side, and this is where we're going to fix our dowel pins. You know, there's a a dozen ways you could have built this, but doing it this way was fun and very rewarding, and very tactile, and the finished product has come out absolutely gorgeous. I did sneak some programming in there and put a maker's mark on it.